Hi, my name is Kathy and today we're going to learn how to wash dishes. To start out, I fill up a container like this with water and then I add my soap to it. You don't need a lot, so a little bit goes a long way. If your hands are sensitive, you may want to use gloves. So I always keep gloves here. Luckily, I'm not sensitive to the detergent or to washing dishes. But nevertheless, I have a pair of gloves in case I do need it. Then we're gonna start next with our scrub brush. And first I'm gonna scrub a pan. So I'm gonna dip my sponge in the soap and using the sponge, I'm gonna rub it against the pan. First the front, then the back. I'm going to use the scrub part to the back. You should not use the scrub part to the front of it because the pans are sensitive, and since they have Teflon, it will ruin the Teflon because sometimes the pad part will scratch it. So nice and soapy, make sure there is nothing stuck on your pan, and then we're going to turn on the water. And it's best to use warm water. Actually, be careful because sometimes it might get hot very quickly. So you don't want to burn your hands. And then you're gonna wash the soap off the back of the pan, the handle. You're gonna turn it around, and then you're gonna move your hand around the pan to make sure nothing was left behind and everything was clean. Okay, then we're gonna put it on our drying pad. We're gonna turn off our water, and next we have a dish. Again, you're gonna dip your sponge in the soap, and you're gonna scrub the plate with the scrub part of it, so in case there's any food stuck on it or on the back, it will clean your dish. Then, of course, you wash your dish with your warm water again, and you put it on your drying pad. Next, we have a cup. Now the cup, you should use the scrubby side because tea and coffee actually stain your cups. So you need to make sure that you scrub with enough force to get the coffee stains or the tea stains or whatever drink you had in your cup. You make sure you wash the lip of it where you put your mouth to drink out of, and sometimes it runs down to the handle. Make sure you scrub that, and then make sure you scrub all around. And then of course you rinse it with your warm water. You make sure you get all the soap on the inside. See, the water got hot, so I had to pull it off a little bit. And then you make sure you get the soap off the outside. And you put it on your drying pan. Next we have a fork. Now the fork, because it has the middle part to it, you're going to scrub the handle where you hold on to it. You're going to scrub the top part. And to get in between the teeth in case there's any food, I have this little brush, and then I'm gonna dip it in my soap and I'm gonna brush between the teeth of the fork to make sure there is no food stuck in there. And that looks about good. Hang it back up. And then rinse it. And of course you have to make sure that the fork is clean, there was no food left on it before you put it on the drying pan. Next we have a spoon, and the same thing with the spoon. We're going to use the scrubby part on the front of the spoon that touches the food on the handle. Make sure the back of the spoon is also wiped clean. And then of course we're going to rinse it, and you're going to feel in the spoon to make sure no particles were left. And you're going to put it on your drying pan. Next we have, I guess it's a plastic bowl. We're going to get the scrubby part to clean the inside in case there's any food debris or anything And then we're gonna use the scrubby part along the lip to make sure food is not stuck there. And then we're gonna use the scrubby part to wash the outside. Okay? And then when we rinse, we're gonna make sure we rinse the back and then make sure that everything is rinsed on the inside. And you could touch it to see if any food debris was stuck in it. And if it's clean, you could hear it squeak. And then we're gonna put it on that drying pad. Next, we're gonna wash the top to the plastic dish. You're gonna use the sponge side because it's soft and it's able to go into the nooks and crannies of the top. And the top side of the top also, and then you could scrub with the scrubby part. Now because it has a groove around it, we're gonna take our brush again, dip it in the soap, and we're gonna make sure we get in that groove. Make sure there's no debris. And then we're gonna rinse. Make sure you rinse the top part very well. Turn it over so you can make sure the inside is clean. And of course, again, it will squeak when it's clean. And then you're gonna put it on your drying pad. Next, we have a pot with a top. You're gonna use the scrubby part to scrub the food off the top if it has any. Make sure that you get the edges really well to take out any food debris, and then you're gonna turn it over and you're gonna scrub the edge again and then scrub the middle part. And of course, you're gonna use your hand to make sure there is no debris stuck on the top, and then you're gonna rinse it. And then you're gonna put it on the drying board. Next we have a pan that we use to make breakfast with. What I normally do is put direct soap on it because sometimes the food may be a little greasy or there's a little spice in your food. So you want to make sure you spread the soap with your hand so then it starts to take the food off, and then you dip your sponge in your soap and you use the scrubby part to take the food particles out. Now they could be tricky because sometimes you need to hold it very tight to scrub it hard enough to take the food debris off. And I'm having a hard time with the food that dried on the pan, but it's coming off. Then you go on the outside, you do the handles. And then the back side of it. And then I like to touch it with my hand to see if there's any food debris, and there does seem to be some food debris. So I have to scrub it a little harder. I touched it with my hand and it seems that the food debris, I did get it off the pan. So then I'm going to rinse the outside first. And then I'm going to rinse the inside. I touch it with my hand to make sure I don't feel any food stuck on it. It looks to be clean, and I'm going to put it on my drying board. The next thing we have is a blender bottle, which is what you use to drink a protein drink. Usually you use milk or juice and then you apply your protein. It has the little steel ball that you put in. Once you put in your ingredients, you cover it up and you shake it. So that's how it's used. Usually I put the steel ball in the soap so it could soak for a little bit. I use the soft part of my sponge because you don't want to scratch the inside, because once you scratch the inside, then the food or the drink may get stuck. So you try not to really scrub very hard with the scrubby part so you don't scratch it. And then of course you do use the scrubby part on the top of it in case there is drink dried on it. And it is a little hard to get into the nooks and crannies, so again I'm going to use my brush, dip it in the soap, and I'm going to make sure that I scrub around it, especially in the little parts where you can't get the big sponge or your fingers in it. And inside, because when you turn it, the grooves inside can contain some of the drink, and if you don't wash it correctly, it'll start to smell. So you have to make sure that you wash the grooves really well. Okay, then you rinse it. And you put it on your drying. I left some soap in it, so make sure you take all the soap out. Every nook and cranny might have soap. And then I wash the cup. I stick my hand in there to make sure that none of the drink stayed in there. And then I put it on my drying cup. The little steel ball, what I do is I take the brush again and brush in between. And then rinse it. Put it on your drying pad. And that's it for today. That's how I wash dishes. I hope you learned how to wash your dishes for today. Thank you.